What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing the pros and cons of the newly approved 17-game NFL season. This rule change just got put through owners, and they approved it. So this will be in effect as of the 2021 season. So let's just get straight into it. So we'll start off with the pros here, and first of all, we'll just start with the pros for the fans. And so clearly, what this means is more football, so that should be pretty exciting for almost every viewer, casual or otherwise. It's an exciting time to be a football fan because of the extra game, especially with the expanded playoffs too. That's 2 extra games being added in the span of about a year, officially. So this is pretty exciting for the football fan that just misses their team during the off season, which who doesn't. But it should be pretty exciting to see your team for an extra week. The other thing to consider is that, believe it or not, there are pros for players in this situation, and that is that the minimum salaries for every position are going to be raised, which is a huge deal, for many players, including, the guys that barely crack a roster after training camps and all that. It's going to be a good thing for them that they're going to be able to make some more money just making a roster. No matter what the extent of their play is, they'll still make, minimum more money than they would before, which is really nice. Even other players just get another game check. That should be pretty cool. And then the other thing is that I believe, if what I've heard is correct, that there's going to be more incentives that will be added into contracts and stuff involving the last game of the season. And plus, with stat goals for incentives in certain players' contracts, it'll be more obtainable with an extra game. And so the extra chance for incentives should benefit pretty much every player in the league, which is pretty awesome. And then the last thing to add is that the pros for the teams themselves is that there's going to be more money to be made with extra games being broadcast, extra home games with merchandise and concessions being sold and all that. Overall, it's more money for the players and the league itself. So that's a pretty big plus for everyone. And obviously I will get into the cons in a moment. So getting into the cons, first for the fans, is the potential for blackouts, for areas for the broadcast. It's a problem that, fans of teams anywhere, if you're not a fan of the team in your hometown or state or whatever, there's a good chance that you're going to miss out on most of the games if you're watching, on TV legally. But there's a potential for more blackouts, especially for this last game of the season, which could be the most important game of the season for certain franchises that are trying to make it into playoffs for the 7th seed or whatever. Maybe they haven't made it in a long time, and it's one of the most important games they've had in decades. You might have to miss out on that if it's your team, sadly, because of blackouts having to do with the broadcast. Now, I cannot confirm or deny whether, these games will be broadcast on certain networks or not. That's not, to my knowledge as of yet, and I don't think anyone knows because we don't even know. I think there's a date set for these games, but I'm not entirely sure yet. And the other thing is that, if you're a fan of a team that just is not having a good season, you're kind of forced to suffer through one more game and one more loss and potential for just worse stats for your team. Now onto the cons for players. First off, the big one is more chances to get hurt. Players like Alvin Kamara voiced their displeasure with this new change, saying that it's not fair to the players and stuff, and I absolutely respect that, and that's why I'm sort of iffy on this issue myself. As a fan, I'm very happy, but, as a football fan and of these players in particular, I feel bad for their bodies. There's more chance for them to get hurt. And, regardless of whether you suffer a serious injury or not in a season, you're still banged up by the end of it. And, I really do feel for the players who are going to have to go through this. I'm sure some players are totally fine with it and don't really care, as long as they take care of themselves. But you really do never know when you're going to get hurt. And, adding an extra room for error in that department, especially right before playoffs, could be risky. I do hope that this turns out to be a good change, although I'm not so sure at the moment. And I don't think that most of the players are happy at the current moment. And I know the rebuttal for that is, the Players Association also voted for it to be in. But yes, that is true, but that also doesn't account for the majority of the players. It's just selected people that are on the board, which, yes, they're trusted by the players, but it's just not the same as getting all of the players' opinion on the matter. And then lastly, there's not really any true cons for the teams. They get to make money and all this off of the games, and, as a franchise, you're not really hurting that much. But, like I said, it could add to the reputation of a franchise for it being bad if, it's one more loss on the record that makes them look bad. Like if there's potentially going to be an 0-17 team in the future, I feel like there will be at some point, but how soon that'll be, I have no idea. I don't think there's any current teams that are bad enough to go that record, but I could be proven wrong. Crazier things have happened. But truly, there aren't very many cons for the teams themselves, in this situation. They get to make more money. They get to pay more players. It could result in the salary cap is supposed to skyrocket in the next couple of years with these broadcasting deals. So the players will end up being more happy because they're going to be able to be paid more money, and there's going to be more players on each roster that are getting paid a lot of money. So franchises will be happy that they'll be able to keep guys like that, assuming they care about the franchise. Not all teams necessarily do. They just care more about the money. But again, that's definitely going to be plentiful in this situation as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and please let me know in the comments, how you feel about this situation. It's a crazy time to be an NFL fan. It's just all these changes and stuff. And now with proposed rule changes from other teams coming in at the current moment, we have the potential to have a very crazy 2021 NFL season. So please let me know in the comments how you feel about all this. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.